Welcome. In today's video, we want to look at how to account for withholding tax. We've got a transaction whereby you sell to a customer and the customer, according to tax authorities, withholds VAT, a third of the VAT when they make the payment. So we want to look at how do you process such a transactions on QuickBooks. So I'm just going to demonstrate using a case study of a summary sale transaction done between Survey Trading Private Limited and King's Enterprises. And we are saying the transaction date of this transaction is 15 April 2024. Right. Then we've got an overview. Parties involved, we've got Survey Trading Private Limited as the supplier and King's Enterprises as the customer. And the nature of the transaction is that Survey Trading sold goods amounting to 50,000 exclusive of value-added tax VAT, and the VAT or value-added tax rate is at 15%, resulting in a VAT charge of 7.5. Right. So you'd find the total invoice amount is 57,500. That is now including VAT, and payment terms due on specified date. Then the issue is on VAT handling. Amount withheld. King's Enterprises withheld 1/3 of the VAT amount, which is 2,500 as per similar regulations, of course citing compliance. And then they paid, that is King's Enterprises paid the full invoice amount of 55,000, excluding the withheld VAT of 2.5. So we want to see how to process such a transaction on QuickBooks. So I'm just going to go back to QuickBooks and then process this transaction. So we're just sharing our screen of QuickBooks. Now to process this transaction, we have to come to customers, then we come to create invoices, then our invoice window will open. We now have to select our customer, right? So if our customer is not there, like in this case, we are told that the customer is King's Enterprises, and when we look at here, we don't see King's Enterprises. We can quickly create King's Enterprises by clicking on Add New. Right? When we click on Add New, we're given this window, and we can type in the details of our customer. Right? So we've got King's Enterprises. So we're writing that King's Enterprises. Right? So on the customer name, and we can copy this information here and paste it on Kanban name. Right, we have to fill all these other details. I'm not going to do that. That is main phone number, work phone, mobile, fax if it's there, main email, and all that information. Then down here we have to put in the addresses. Right, I'm just doing this quickly, then I'm just clicking on OK. So we have created our customer, and we are now going to process the transaction, right? So on quantity, we're just going to put 1. Then we're going to pick our item, transport services. Then we're going to put in the amount, which is the total invoice amount was 57,500, including VAT. So that was our total invoice amount. So we're going to post this transaction now. So we will update, save, and close. Right. So we have processed the invoice. Now the customer pays us, right? But they are paying us excluding a 1/3 of the VAT amount. As we saw, the VAT amount is 7,500 and the withheld amount is 2,500. So to process the payment, we are coming here. We are clicking on customers. Then we are coming here and clicking on receive payments. Right, when we do that, we are given this window. Then we have to select where are we receiving the money from. We are receiving from King's Enterprises, and how much is it? So they paid us 55,000. Right, remember we invoiced them 57,500, as you can see as per this invoice, but when they paid 55,000 straight. Right, that is excluding 2,500, a third of the VAT which they withheld. So you will see later on how we account for that. So we're just going to put the 55 2,000 which they paid. Then of course you can select the payment method, put up a reference there, right? Then we can select where the money was deposited. If you had activated that, you can select where the money was deposited. So after having done this, you can see there is an underpayment of 2,500 here. So we're just going to save this and close. Now, how are we going to account for the 2,500 which they withheld, so that when we issue out a statement, their statement won't show a balance? What we have to do now is we have to come on accountant, then we click on make general journal entries. We can also find this under company here, make general journal entries. So when we do that, we are given this window, right? Then on this window, what we have to do, we have to run a journal whereby we are going to credit the customer account and we are going to debit an account which we can call withholding VAT, right? VAT withheld by customers. Whichever name we give, it has to be a current asset account. So first we're going to pick accounts receivable. So we're going to look for accounts receivables. Then we are going to put the amount in the credit column, which is 2,500. So, and then we're going to put in the description withheld. So we can just type in withheld VAT, value added tax, right, by Kings Enterprises, right? The description has to be clear on invoice, so just include the invoice details so that you know what it was about. Then after having put in the description, you come here, you select the customer. This is very important. Under name, you select the customer to which the withheld VAT relates. Then you go to the next line. You have to look for this account by default is not there, so you have to create it the first time. But when you have such a transaction again, you won't have to create this account. It will be there. You just have to pick it. So in this case, we are creating this account and we're coming to other account tabs. Then we are picking other current assets, because this is a current asset. Then you are clicking on continue, right? When we do that, we can now give this account a name. So we can say withheld as a name, VAT by customers, right? Okay, you can just give this account any name that is clear to you and which will also be clear to everyone else. So we're just creating that account as other current asset, right? Then save and close. So this account, we are going to debit it. We're going to debit it with 2,500, right? So when you do that, we can also just pick the customer here under name Kings Enterprises. This transaction is done and it's ready for posting. So this will clear on the statement. So we'll save and close, right? So we have done this. You'd find when you pay your income tax, when you do your annual income tax, there is a section when you're submitting your ZIMRA return whereby you can now input the amount in the account that you created, the withheld VAT by customer account, into that. Now let's just view the customer statement before we go. We click on customers, then we come to create statements, right? Then we select our parameters from which period to what period. Then here we just want to see one customer, so we click on one customer, then we select our customer, in this case Kings Enterprises. Then we can click on preview before we print or email. So if we were to preview this statement, you can see these are our transaction. Balance brought down 0. Invoice amount, we invoiced them 57,500. Then payment, they paid 55,000. Then they withheld 2,500. So their statement, if you are to look at it, it has got 0 balance, right? In our books, if we were to view, if we were to come here on under reports and under accountant, then general ledger, right? If you were to view our general ledger for withheld VAT by customers, you'd find it has a balance of 2,500. So this balance will be cleared end of year. When you do your annual return, you have to credit this account withheld VAT with the amount sitting on it, and then debit income tax, the income tax liability account. That will clear your books and make sure that everything balances off. So basically, this is how you treat this transaction. I hope this video explains and helps you understand how to do it. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Thank you.